Hello, everyone. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you on this Tuesday night. I'll have an update for you on some record-breaking high temperature potential in your forecast. Some freezing weather in your forecast, an update on Milton, and yes, the northern lights are out again. Your photos will say it all. That's all coming up next on Hutch's Weather.
Now, a Hutch's Weather Update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
You know, I couldn't be more happy to have you joining me, and I couldn't be more happy to have my friends at Robert Gibb and Sons, well, have a message for you. And that is, if you have a room that's hard to heat or cool or get to that comfortable temperature, a mini split system might do the trick for you. And now there is the ability to get up to $2,000 in a tax rebate. So talk to my friends at Robert Gibb and Sons. Give them a call. They only use the highest quality Bryant systems. Please tell them Hutch sent you. All right, now we have had a lot of awesome weather to talk about across the area here locally. It's been very dry though. We've had the fires, we've had the winds, but also the fall colors are out in earnest and the colors in the sky at night are out, and you have delivered with your photo uploads to hutchesweather.com. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of photos to get started right out of the gate here, and it really is an impressive sight. We'll start with some fall colors because this is new since the last time we spoke. This is from the White Earth State Forest, uploaded and Lynn capturing the gorgeous and beauty of the trees out there. That looks like that maple is just shining brightly with a little bit of all colors involved. Lynn, thank you for taking the time to upload your photos. And guess what? The northern lights are right now, so they're not particularly strong, but the ability to see them, if you've never done so, is out there again for tonight. Terry capturing this in Devil's Lake. Look at the golden trees of fall, just shrouded by the emerald greens of the northern lights. The Aurora Borealis, another shot from the area. Check this out, Nelson County. Oh my goodness. And it's beautiful. That's combine out there lighting up the field as the work just continues by area producers to bring in the crops. But we had a little bit of all kinds of different colors up there for you to enjoy in this particular shot. So we've had some magnificent northern lights across the area. Again, I invite you to head on over to hutchesweather.com to see the very latest on that. And while I'm there, I just want to take a moment and share with you. Whoops, let me see here. While I switch this over to hutchesweather.com. When you go there, I invite you to sign up for email alerts from myself. I'm not going to spam you. I'm not giving you daily notices of what Hutch has on special. It's basically when something important is going on, like the Aurora a couple nights ago, I sent one of these, and I've only sent a handful in the last few months. So please consider signing up. You can get the latest fall colors. It's your one-stop shopping there with regards to that. And now let's take a look at what we have going on here. Now, I couldn't do it without you, and I couldn't do hutchesweather.com without my fine sponsors. And let's take a look at this one on the very end here. This is Luther Family Ford, and they are, anytime you are thinking about purchasing a vehicle, head on over to their website. They have online services right here. You can get the latest on their inventory of new, used vehicles or pre-owned. They'll get you taken care of. So thanks to Luther Family Ford for being a sponsor of Hutch's Weather. Now let's get right back to the forecast facts, and let's start with a look at our hour-by-hour forecast here in the Valley to get you going. First thing you need to know is I see a whole lot of nothing out there as we go through the overnight hours and into the morning. So we're going to stay very quiet and clear, and that's going to allow for some chances of seeing those northern lights out there heading into your overnight hours. If you happen to be out and about away from the city lights, so bring your best chance. And the best chance will be in our northernmost latitudes overnight and towards morning. This is 7 a.m. A whole lot of nothing going on here, folks, as we look at some clouds near Saskatoon. Now, as we advance this into the midday hour, I don't see anything threatening. And then as we go into the afternoon, there's some changes in Montana. Do you see them? This is the evening hours. Clouds building. A cold front will be working its way through. Clouds in Winnipeg will be skirting along the international border. Not much of a rain chance with this little weather maker for us, but a couple of sprinkles could be in the Saskatoon forecast if you happen to be heading out to Saskatchewan. For us, though, more clouds will be in our future as we go through your Thursday forecast. And there will be some changes with this cold front that brings temperature changes. But on Thursday, we'll have a shot with southerly winds really to be near record high temperatures. So that's something to keep in mind there. Let me see if I have any questions from you, but first let's go ahead and take a look at your planning forecast and what you need to know. Here's a look at our weather whiplash, and what you need to know in the morning. We'll have a few areas in northern and central Minnesota that will dip down into those 30s, but for Fargo, I'm going for a temperature tomorrow morning of 48, and that's great. Look at that high, 78. So warmer still as we warm it to near 80 in Fargo. Not quite as warm in Grand Forks, not quite as warm to the east, and the hottest weather tomorrow will be out to the west in the western and central Dakotas, where 80s will be in store. Those 80s arrive here on Thursday with the south and southwest winds. Our record high in Fargo is 86 degrees. 82 is what I'm going for as we close out the work week, though. There's the cool front making its way known on Friday. Manitoba showers of rain will be very light on Friday. For us, the best chance is as low pressure develops right along the international border, skirts along the international border. So places like Minot, Bottineau, Devil's Lake, all the way up towards Pembina, Cavalier, maybe Grand Forks and into northwest Minnesota for you folks in Greenbush, Badger, Red Lake Falls, Thief River Falls, and points north towards Grigla, and even out towards Lake of the Woods. We'll have a chance at some rain showers making their way through. And again, that will be not until we get into your forecast on Saturday. So it's looking pretty quiet and certainly cooler. After that, after near record highs on Thursday, look at this. Fargo's first freeze is in Hutch's forecast, and that is on Tuesday. We'll be awful close to it on Monday morning as well as the cooler transition takes hold. So that is a look at what's going on locally. Now let's take a look at what's going on a little bit less than locally, and that is for our concern with the peninsula of Florida. Hurricane Milton weakened last night, and into the morning it was down to a Category 4 storm. It has re-strengthened. It's become a Category 5 storm once again, and that is the highest on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Now I have a full video and then the links down here in the section here. I will put up a link to that video. So let me see if I can do that right now. Here we go. And I'll put it in the comments. Hey, Tracy, good to have you on. Rita, good to have you on board as well. I see Nathan is joining me. Thanks, Joanne, for joining from Bemidji. Always a pleasure to have you on board. It looks like Nathan is joining from the Fargo-Moorhead area. Now, let me see if I can move this screen around just a little bit. Pardon my wandering eyes, if you may. And let's take a look at what we have going on here. I'll see if I can copy and paste this link. I did a full and complete video just moments ago on my YouTube channel. And if you haven't been there, it's a good opportunity for you to get out there and check that out. So let me pull that up here. I'm going to pop that in the comments. And again, I appreciate your patience with me as my eyes are wandering here while I get the right link put in here. I don't want you to link you to the wrong video. There we go. Okay, you'll see it in the comments here for a complete update. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a timely update on what's going on with Hurricane Milton and the forecast. So as we go and take a look at the area down south, let's get down over on the radar and we'll look at this forecast here. This is a hourly updated forecast model that we're going to pull out to the 24-hour time frame. And you can see that Hurricane Milton will basically work its way through as we go through the day tomorrow on hump day and work its way toward the coast of Florida. This is when the impacts begin. Mid-afternoon in Florida, tropical storm force winds will arrive to places like Tampa, St. Pete, Cape Coral, and places in between. Notice the heavier bands of rain on the north side of the hurricane. That's where the worst case scenario rainfall is likely and expected, and this model shows it pretty nicely. Then as we continue through, when does the hurricane arrive? Watch the eye. Very well defined. Here it is still very well defined, and if that happens, we're still likely talking about a significant and major hurricane. Even though some weakening of this storm is expected before landfall, it will still be a major hurricane, and it will still have widespread impacts from north of Tampa to well south of Cape Coral with, well, everything from storm surge, which is the number one threat. We're talking 10 to 15 feet. Think of your home, and the ceiling in your home and mine is about 8 feet tall. And the roof, well, it starts up there at around 10 to 12 feet. The wall of water from this storm surge is expected to be 10 to 15 feet high, and wind speeds could still have gusts in excess of 160 miles per hour, with 100 mile per hour or more sustained winds as it's expected to make landfall as a Category 3. Carrying this forward just a little bit, you're going to see that eye become a little less organized as this system starts getting more close to land. And really that could entrain some drier air into the storm, which could impact the storm and its strength. However, it will still be carrying with it and packing with it hurricane force winds and major hurricane force winds. Here's the big change though. The main area of Tampa St. Pete could be just north of the eye wall. If that's the case, the storm surge will not be as terrible in places north, but down to the south it will be. And those winds will be scooping those waves and pushing that wall of water into places like Sarasota. If we zoom in just a little bit closer, you can see other areas impacted. So if you want to find out a little bit more about this hurricane, please follow the link and check out that after we're done here. But for now, let's answer a couple of questions. Greetings from Ellendale. It's sure good to have you on, Tom. It's a pleasure to have you joining me here. And again, for all of you who have not done it, I really invite you to do this. Hutch's Weather right here on Facebook. If you want notifications from time to time, Facebook will do that for you, but I need you to hit the follow button. If you hit the follow button, you'll get notifications of when I'm going on. Otherwise, just head to my page, Hutch Johnson, Chief Meteorologist, and you will get the latest videos there. But anytime, anywhere, no matter where you are, no matter when you're there, you can get the latest weather updates on hutchesweather.com. So I appreciate you checking out that website and leave your comments right here, right now. Have you been to my website? What would you like to see added to hutchesweather.com? Check it out and let me know, because you help Hutch's Weather grow and take its next steps. And speaking of next steps, I do have a wonderful announcement for you. And this is the fact that coming up here in the next couple of days, well, we're going to be rocking Hutch's Weather Kids. You know, folks, I got to tell you, it's been a pleasure over the last 27 years of broadcasting in this region, from the Bismarck area to here in the Red River Valley and into western Minnesota. I have been able and have the privilege of working with area students and sharing my love of weather with them and showing them how to point at the wall. And we are continuing that legacy, something that I brought here to Fargo many, many years ago, and we're continuing it now. So if you know of a student, teachers, or parents that would be very interested in helping Hutch figure out this wild weather that we have here in the Northern Plains, Hutch wants you. How do you sign up to be a Hutch's Weather Kid? Well, it's easy. I'm going to turn my double head off here so it don't make you think like, what's going on with Hutch? Head on over to Luther Family Ford during normal business hours and you can sign up right there. So they'd love to have you stop in and sign up. And if you happen to not be able to do that, head on over to hutchesweather.com/weatherkid is where that sign up is. But essentially, once you're on the page, you can just go right down and scroll down to the bottom right here, and you'll see it. There it is, Hutch's Weather Kid. Easy form. Fill it out. If you get the call, well, then I'm going to need you to help me figure out the weather. I'm very excited. It starts right now, basically. So things are getting rolling out, and I can't wait to meet more kids excited to learn more about the weather. All right, we'll check and see if there's any more comments or questions in the offing right here. Let me check it out and see. But other than that, it looks like a quiet night again. Sister lives in Sarasota, says Phyllis. And naturally, I'm concerned. Sarasota is in the impact zone, most certainly. And I am just very hopeful that many people that live in those areas, Phyllis, have heeded the pleas by the local officials to get out. And I understand one of the things in meteorology that's very near and dear to meteorologists' heart is that when we need you to take action, we're telling you, we're not forecasting worst case scenarios to scare anybody. But hurricanes, as they start out in the ocean, we can see them coming for days. But our ability and our skill in forecasting them 5 or 6 days out has only improved modestly, but it has improved. So it's been pretty clear that this storm was going to impact the west coast of Florida. The strength has changed, and the track will continue to change as things evolve. And that's why we have hurricane hunters in airplanes measuring the properties of these storms in real time. Joanne says, I have family in Coral Springs and Tampa, and Coral Springs to me seems to be the area, Joanne, that I am most concerned about based on the local track and the latest track of this storm shifting just ever so slightly south of Tampa. Sarasota, Coral Springs. Coral Springs may indeed be in the path of some of the worst of the winds and the storm surge. Heavier rain to the north. Even Orlando will be impacted. And last night, people were asking about folks on the eastern coast or the Atlantic side of Florida. And yes, there is going to be concern there because Milton is so strong and will be a major hurricane at landfall, and the peninsula of Florida is fairly short. So it's going to give a hiccup to the strength of this storm system and have it being a Category 2 storm as it's over the central and eastern part of the peninsula. But that is still a significant hurricane, carrying with it wind damage, embedded tornadoes, and flooding rains. So you can bet when an area loses power, when an area loses water supply, those things will impact folks. So Joanne, prayers for your family. And again, hopefully more folks are taking heed of the warnings, because this system weakened last night to Category 4, and then it upped itself back up and maintains a Category 5 status as we speak. All right. Thank you so very much for your questions. Again, I'd love you to leave comments in this broadcast right here about what you would love to see Hutch change next on hutchesweather.com. But for now, have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday evening. Check out my website, hutchesweather.com. I'd love to have you click the follow button on this Facebook page right here, because the more followers I have, the more notifications go out, and it just is very helpful for me. So thank you very much for doing that. And if you happen to click on the YouTube link tonight to watch my explanation and in-depth description of Hurricane Milton, hit the subscribe button while you're there. I sure appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful Tuesday night.